So, my people, I am here with Vincent M. Ward. You know him as Cornelius on Family Business, Oscar on Walking Dead, Bishop on House of Vicious, and now he's the executive producer and star of his own movie on Lionsgate.
No,
Welcome, Vincent.
Stepdaddy.
Stepdaddy. Welcome, Vincent M. Ward. What's
What
up,
up?
Vincent?
What up, though, Stephen? What up, though?
So,
Thanks for
tell us
having
about.
me.
I'm glad that you're here. Tell us about your new movie.
Well, it's not the stepfather, but it's kind of the remake
Okay.
from the stepfather. It's called the Stepdaddy.
Okay.
And one reason I created it, man, that endeavor role is because you never see anybody to look like us play those parts
Right.
at that time. You know, only killer that we really and truly had was Candyman.
Right.
Tony Todd may rest in peace.
Yeah.
And
We
so
both
I
worked
was
with him.
like, huh?
We both worked with him.
Yeah. So I was like, man, plus I got tired of getting killed off on everything. So I just decided I decided to make my own character as the killer. And you
Right.
know, like how Saul is and how Jason and Michael Myers are. You know, they're up to part 19, part 20.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, I'm not gonna kill myself off.
Right.
But as far as the stepdaddy, man, it's all about this guy who he loves to be in love with a family. But it's always, you know, it's always a woman and a kid or a woman and, you know, two kids. As soon as things don't go his way, he flips out. You know,
Okay.
traumatic beginnings of, you know, from his family. And he can't take the nose. He can't take not feeling like he's being respected or
Well,
appreciated.
appreciate it.
Inside joke or love. So he flips out and he gets rid of them.
Right.
And honestly, when we first started, you know, I write stuff, but I don't call myself a writer. I might
Okay.
sound crazy because I respect the titles and all the stuff that the writers do.
Right.
I create and I write stuff down and I play every character that I'm writing down.
Right.
So when I wrote this and I presented it, they were saying that you know, they wouldn't have the budget for that because it would have been way over budget. So
Okay.
then that's when I brought in my friend Dreka Armstrong. She came in and, you know, she did some changes to it so the budget wouldn't be so expensive. But my thing was I'm not gonna all that stuff that I did right, I'm not just gonna let it go. So
Right.
that's when the book came in.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I have a Stepdaddy graphic novel, and the Stepdaddy movie will be out April 28th.
Okay. And will it be in theaters or will it be streaming?
It's on video on demand.
Oh, cool.
The way
So
that
will
I even we shot this thing in 2020. I woke what's today? Saturday. I woke up Monday, and I have I don't know if you have it too, Google Alert.
yes.
And all of a sudden, I've got all these messages and all these headlines from horror blogs saying Vincent M. Ward's The Stepdaddy coming out on the 28th. And I didn't
That's how you
know
found out?
anything. That's how I found out, man. I had no clue until this past Monday.
Wow.
Yeah,
Because
it
it's
was.
funny, when I saw it, I said when I spoke to you last week, you didn't mention it.
I
Because you
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
I had
Wow.
no clue. I had no clue until this past Monday when I saw it on Google Alert, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then
Right.
Thursday. So shout out to all the horror blogs that, you know, I guess they might have saw it. I don't know.
Right.
But thank you for, you know, doing a write up about it. I actually love the write ups that I've seen.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
So who else is in the movie?
Oh man, we got Lou Temple from The Walking Dead and all the other movies he's been in. You know, my Walking Dead brother,
Right.
Nick Gomez, Tosha Story from The
Yeah, she's
Oval.
great. She
Yeah,
does a lot of work.
and the thing about it was like, again, this was 2020. I don't
Right.
even think she was on The Oval or any of that stuff at that
Right.
time. So yeah, man, I got Felissa Rose in it. Felissa is known for man, I forgot the name of the doggone movie. Damn, Felicity, I'm sorry, but Felicity's in there. We got a lot of horror people in there too,
Okay.
man. There was a lot of favors being done, and actually, it was some favors being done that I didn't even know about, and
Right.
that's probably why the reason it took so damn long for it to come out because of
Right.
the stuff behind the scenes, and people don't realize that, man. You know, as actors, you hope whatever you in come out, especially if
Right.
it's independent. You
Right.
know,
Right. So
and I created this, and I didn't know.
right. Right. So I have a question.
Sleepaway camp. Sleepaway camp. I'm sorry.
Sleepaway camp.
Felicity.
Okay.
Sleepaway camp.
Okay. So I have a question. Where was my role?
What
Uh,
in my room? Hey, there's only one room. There's only one room for one of us.
I can act.
It
I can
wasn't.
play
It
a
wasn't.
zombie. I can play a
It
voodoo
wasn't.
priest.
Nah, it was not. It wasn't. It wasn't not that in there. It was
No, that was
a
Devereaux.
black. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was a. It was definitely a. And Stepdaddy was definitely a black family, and I think my other family that I off was white. So
Okay.
yeah. So what I've been writing now is uh Stepdaddy Volume 2 to the book. I'm
Okay.
making him more like the devil.
Oh,
You know, he
nice.
comes in different phases, different forms and stuff, you know, but he's still evil. I mean, I looked at it like this, especially Messi. No, Messi, Macy. I looked at it like this. If this guy can do the stuff that I did in the movie and in the book, then he has to be evil. He has to be something has to be demonic with him. So in Volume 2, that's how he is. And I mean, he
Okay.
changes his face, all types of stuff.
So also you're on the sixth season of The Family Business, which is now on BET. Congratulations.
Yeah, on BET, Paramount. What happened was it was on a lot of the black shows that I was on BET Plus, and
Right.
now that Paramount end up buying them out, so a lot of them, hopefully, you know, most of them go to Paramount Plus. So my show, House of Vicious, the Black Hamptons, and the Family Business. Family Business, House of Vicious, and the Black Hamptons all going to
Right.
Paramount Plus. But right now, the Family Business sixth season is on BET, the regular BET.
Okay. Now, so you just said you have your movie and three shows. There was an article that I saw on the internet about a working actor who had to sell his house because he was saying that there's no work or there's no money for the mid-range actors. What do you feel about that? Being a working actor.
Well, you know what, man? You know, you could be working one day and looking for a job the next day. So if you
Always
trying to live,
unemployed.
if you trying to live above your means, then that's what's gonna happen.
Right.
You know, I moved out a little further from LA and bought a house. You know, let me go back. I was living in North Hollywood in an apartment.
Right.
I've moved an hour away from LA and I bought a house. But guess what? My mortgage is cheaper than my rent
Right.
was. So
Right.
you have to be smart about how you spend your money. And
Mhm.
this guy, the guy you were just talking about, this guy was on some big shows. So guess what?
Yeah.
He probably bought a big house. He probably
Right.
bought a big car.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell people all the time, man, until I get that Will Smith, Leonardo check, and you
Right.
know, then I'm still gonna make sure I'm gonna be okay. Just like Kiki Palmer said the other day, and I saw an interview. She was like, you know what? I don't want to go past 2,000 a month paying for
Right.
something.
Right.
Cause she said you never know what happens, and look at her. Kiki been around since she was a little girl, and you know she's doing her thing on that with the Birds or something that
Right.
show.
Yeah. And
They
doing
got a season
movies and
2.
everything.
Yeah.
I worked on her first PR team when
Mm.
she was a little girl. So, but I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you, when I moved to Los Angeles, I lived down the street from Lou Myers, Mr. Gaines from Different World. Most people know him from, but he was starred on Broadway and everything. And he had told me, he was like, that's the problem with people. They get a job, and then he was like, the first year you get a reliable car to get you to set.
Mm-hmm.
He said the third year you get a nicer car because people are going to start recognizing you, and they're going to be like, "What the hell he doing driving that raggedy ass car?"
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then he said, when you go into syndication, then you can start buying a house because you know. And he said that's the problem is that people buy the house immediately. The first thing they do with their first few checks, I'm gonna buy my mama a house. Then they
Mm.
want to do that stuff. He said, and then when it's over because you're not guaranteed another job.
Yeah. And people don't understand that too, man. The hardest thing about this industry, besides finding a job, is the mental. the mental, the
Yes.
emotional, the spiritual side
Yeah.
of this, man. You know, we look at some actors and actresses who killed themselves, and you be like, why the heck they killed themselves? They got this going on. But you never know what's happening to somebody mentally, man. You
Yes.
know, and going back to the whole car thing, I remember working on Everybody Hates Chris. I
Right.
was, Terry Cruz's personal stand-in, and they would give me different parts on the show. But I remember it was like the second season of Everybody Hates Chris, and Terry would drive in to a family Astro van.
Right.
And people used to clown on him, like, man, when you gonna get rid of that? It was raggedy.
Right.
It was. I mean, it wasn't raggedy, but it wasn't. I've been in this industry for a while, and I'm on
Right.
my
And I'm the
second.
star of a hit
Right,
sitcom.
right. I'm on my second season. Might even been the third. But of course, he stepped it up after a while. And plus, he
Yes.
has a family too. Prayers out to his wife Rebecca. Everything she's
Yes.
going through right now, man. That's sad. I remember Rebecca, and I remember the kids coming to the set. And sometimes the family has to get more than what you get, and I think that's how Terry
Right.
looked at it. Terry Crews.
I love Sherry Shepherd. She talks about how she would do Everybody Loves Raymond and then go right back to work in the law office.
Yeah,
Pam Grier, the legendary Pam Grier, she would do the movies, her beginning movies in the Philippines, and she was a secretary or receptionist at a movie studio. She would
yeah.
shoot, be the lead in the movie, and come back to the desk and answer the phone.
Yeah, and that's one thing I don't understand about some actors and actresses. It's like, especially with social media now, I feel like they always got to kind of brag and boast about what they're
Yes,
doing, but
yes,
yet you got 3 or 4 roommates, or you sleeping in your
right.
car. And I'm not
And
saying anything is wrong with having
right,
roommates, but you
right,
just can't be out here bragging.
right,
Oh, I just booked this. I just did that. You sleeping in your car.
right,
You know? And
right,
I know that people just don't put the just don't I know people always put positive stuff
right.
on social media.
But they're
But
not
if you
real. Right,
exactly. And that's the thing I don't like. Just be real.
right,
We all go through stuff,
right,
Look at Chili.
right,
Look at Chili from TLC. She messed the whole tour up.
right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to watch what you say and watch what you do, and who you represent and all that other stuff.
Yeah. Like we know an actress that she answered a question um, on Twitter, and it was misconstrued, and she lost the role.
Yeah, you got
She
to
like
watch.
someone asked her a question, and she said a basic statement, and they twisted it, and she lost the role. You have to be really careful, and nothing's
Yeah.
guaranteed here.
I think social media or the internet is the best and the worst thing ever made
Yes,
because it allows people to be something that they really and truly aren't, or allows people to say stuff that they wouldn't say to you face to face.
right, right.
I got into it with a dude the other day because I don't know if you saw that video about me pumping the gas and my gas got up to $106. And
Oh,
I said, thank you everybody who voted for him or didn't vote at
right,
all. You know what I mean? Look at the gas prices now.
right,
This black dude, came out of nowhere talking about it was worse when Biden was there. I said, what? But it wasn't just how him saying that. It was
right,
how he was saying it.
right,
It was like "Nigga this, "Nigga that." You know what I
right,
mean? He was comfortable calling me saying the N word to me.
right, right,
I ain't gonna say it on your show, but he was comfortable with that, and I didn't
right,
know him. You
right,
know what I mean? And so it got to a point that we was going at it, and
right,
and I don't really cuss
right,
except for if I'm acting, but I had to use some words to him, and if I would told him, I let him know I would say it to your face,
right,
you know.
right,
But and I had to check myself too as far as getting into with people online. Cause
right,
I go to a lot of those conventions and you
right,
never know. I'm getting into it with some idiot online.
right,
He comes to the convention. He knows me, but I don't know who he is,
right, exactly.
and do something to me, throw acid on me or stab
Right.
me or
Well,
shoot me or something.
remember there are people, right? There are people that have been murdered for that reason. Like someone came to like a fan event and shot
Hmm.
them. That female singer, I forgot her name, but she
Yeah.
did, that happened to her. But talking about like people online, I remember I did a movie with Erica Mena, and
Mm.
I was looking in my comments, and somebody sent me a message on Instagram, and literally this was the quote: said, "Use a bitch ass nigga for letting that nigga go." And I was like, "What? are they talking about? Like, went, found me, looked at my name on the credits, searched for me, took the time to write this message and send it to me.
Mm.
I was so happy.
Yeah, man. You just gotta, that's the world we living in. There's so much
Right.
hate. But somebody gave other people the opportunity to feel like they can say what they want to say.
Right.
What's
Right.
the what F what's the FAFO or F what
Yeah.
FAFO?
FAN. You know what else I love is Godfrey's "Leave Black People Alone."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I like Godfrey.
Something I found out about that I'm sure a lot of your fans don't know. You used to be a dancer.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, in a rap group, not at the right track. I wasn't shaking nuts for dollars. No, I used to be a dancer in the rap group. Matter of fact, the album, two albums right there. One group was called the Slam Syndicate, and one was the East Town Posse. So
Okay.
dancing and basketball was my first loves. And sometimes I would even dance while playing basketball, after I did something crazy. So I've always had that entertainment blood in me.
Right.
But when I ran across this whole acting thing, it's because I got fired from GM, then I got fired from Champs, and then end up after getting fired from Champs for no reason, end up going to see my first play, and I fell in love with it. I was 28 at that time in Columbus,
Oh,
Ohio.
really?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was at a small theater called Living the Dream Theater in Columbus, Ohio, and it's like 15 seats. Afterwards, I'm going and talking to actors and actresses. I'm all geeked up, and they was like, I said, "Man, you guys did a great job, whoop de whoop." And they was like, "Yeah, you should come audition." I was like, "Really? What's an audition?" I didn't even know what an audition was, man. It was like it's
Okay.
like an interview. And so I
Right.
went and auditioned and I got a part in this. It was the name of the play was Hughes and Blues, the Lifestyles of Langston Hughes. And
Okay.
so it was pretty much us doing the poems from what Langston Hughes wrote.
Right.
And my at that time, I was the ladies man. So my character was actually called the ladies man.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a far stretch. Let's put it this way, I thought I was a ladies man.
Right.
But so that character wasn't a far stretch of how I was really and truly living my life at that time. So
So how
from
did you
there,
get to LA? How did you get to LA?
I ended up getting. So I was still in Ohio. So after that, I started doing more plays. Then I did an independent film called A Symbol of Love, and then I did a movie called Traffic with Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones and
Oh yeah,
all
that
them.
big movie.
Yeah, I did
The
that
movie of
in
the year.
Ohio. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm moving to LA. After that, and so my parents were like, you don't even know anybody. I said, I don't care, I'm moving. So I had moved from Columbus back to Dayton, stayed with my parents, saved my money. And by the time it was time for me to come out here to California, had cut me a check for $10,000 telling me not to come back. Now, when I was telling her I got fired from GM, I had got hurt on the job and they told me I couldn't
Okay.
come back, right?
Right.
So I ended up coming out here in 2000 after that, after I did the movie Traffic. And I just came out here and just knew I was about to blow up.
Right.
I went to, what was that one store all the actors used to go to? They had everything, the scripts, the
Oh,
books.
French, Samuel French.
Daniel French. I went
Yeah.
and got a book on Sunset. Went and got a book on Samuel French for all the agents and managers. And this is the time when you had to like drop stuff off or mail it
Right.
off. And man, I just knew it was gonna be easy for me to get an agent. I got a call from two people after I sent out like 80,
Right.
90
Right.
headshots, black and white. I ended up having a meeting with both of them on the same day. So I
Okay.
went to the first one and they was like, have a seat. And I'm sitting there 15, 20, 40 minutes and went past. Ain't nobody said nothing to me. I was like, I'm out of here.
Right.
I went to the second one. They was like, I talked to them. It's like, we would like to sign you. It's like, yes. And I signed quick. Signed quick, man. And then I remember going to Central Casting. I was like, when I did Traffic, I was already SAG eligible.
Right.
I was
Right.
Taft Hartley.
Right.
And so I was like, let me see what this extra stuff is about. I didn't like it. I didn't like it
I
at
didn't
all.
like it either. That's how I started.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. But this one particular day, when I went, You remember they used to have the phone thing where you could just
Yes.
call the line or whatnot.
Give your last four digits.
Yeah, and so I didn't even really make it into central casting that day because the phone people came and their office was right across the street from central casting. With
Okay.
the call-in service, that's what it is, the
Right.
call-in service.
Yeah.
So they was like, I was like, all right, I'll check it out. So I go in there and they was like, have you ever been a stand-in? I'm like, yeah, I've been a stand-in. I didn't even know what the hell a stand-in
Right.
was.
Right.
And they was like, they signed me up or whatever. And then they was like, it's $100. I was like, they said $99. I'm like, $99? I said, I ain't got no $99. Because I didn't know how to pay for this. So they was
Right.
like, all right, let's do this. When you get your first job, then you come back and sign up the rest of it or whatnot.
Okay.
I was like, okay, all right, fine. They called me like 2 days later about the stand-in stuff.
Right.
They was like, yeah, that's when he asked me about, being a stand-in. So I jumped the gun a little bit. And I was like, yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, yeah, it was a
Right.
job.
Right.
It's like, yeah, we need you to report to Paramount for a show called Girlfriends. I was like, Girlfriends?
I
I
wanted to
knew
do that
about
show
girl.
so bad.
Man, I went there, but I can only stand in for people who was tall.
Right.
The Reggie dude already had a stand in, so I was
Okay.
standing in for all the co-stars, guest stars, or
Okay.
whatever, right? And so I go, and the second AD or the first AD, she was like, you did a good job today. I was like, oh, thank you, whatever. And she said, and she asked me about Central and all that. And I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be signing in for some calling service. She said, don't worry about that. I'll call you
Okay.
personally. And
Okay.
so I worked on there for like maybe 2 years, 2.5 years. And one of the guys, what happened was, well, I'm reading the lines and all that stuff.
Right.
Then they would give me parts. And I thought I was going to have a big part, but they ended up calling John Sally to do it, right?
Uh,
Yeah. And so this one guy who worked behind the scenes, he was like, man, he said, I know you're standing on here, but you're not here much. He said, but I'm about to leave here. I'm about to go work on a new show called Everybody Hates Chris. He
wow.
said, it's a guy named Terry Crews on there. You perfect to stand in for him. And that's how I got to Everybody Hates Chris. I left Girlfriends and stood in for Terry for 4 years. They gave us different
You had
parts.
roles on the show too.
Yeah, I ended up. I was with them last night or
Oh,
night before last. The producer Ali Leroy
Leroy. Yeah.
had did something called Everybody Hates Exhibitions,
Okay.
and he's an artist. And all those years he was taking pictures of us. We never knew what it was, and he put it all in an art form
Really.
and invited a lot of people to come check out what he did. This was Thursday night.
Okay.
So
So,
yeah, man,
so as
that's
long as you've been working, do you have any roles that you're embarrassed of or said I shouldn't have taken that role?
not really, because we grateful to get what we get. But I mean, of course, it's like an independent film what we was doing, before we started really getting
Right.
on TV. I think it was this one film, and my buddy, he's real flamboyant, right?
Okay.
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with it. But he had to give me a massage. So this nigga had to sit on my back and all types of stuff. I'm glad I know him. That was a little strange to me, man.
Yeah.
That and I did a movie in Malaysia, and it's called Lost in the Pacific.
From Basketball Wives.
No. The country Malaysia.
Oh, okay.
No, I did a movie in Malaysia,
Okay.
and this one part, it was me and the chick was supposed to have been having sex.
Right.
So you have to remember, it was like some American actors, but everybody else was Asian.
Right. Right.
And the chick didn't want to do it because I was black, right? And so they end up doing a casting for it. And so the chick who ended up being the double, she was fine. She was fine. She looked way better than the other chick. But it was like it was closed set. We in there. I've been over there 2 months. It was supposed to be like we was doing it doggy style. So, I'm like, I only had boxers.
Right. Right.
So the only thing he was here was, but we wasn't having sex. I was so embarrassed, man. And so some of the Asian chicks that was working behind the scene, I said, were y'all in there? They was like, no, we weren't in there. We just heard like some clapping noises. That's my first time telling this story.
That's
I
funny.
was so nervous, man. But
Wow.
yeah, that's the biggest one right there.
You know, I did a movie where I had to wear an elephant head G string. I come in, I think it's my fiance. I get into bed, and then I find out it's this little white boy. We start fighting. He runs away. I grab him, rip off his underwear. He runs out the motel. I chase
Oh my
after
god!
him, and an elephant head thong, nothing else, on Adams and Crenshaw
Oh
at
my
2 o'clock in
god!
the morning.
They used to seeing it.
And all you hear is the cars honking. Get him! Get his white ass! Blah blah.
Oh my
And,
god!
yeah. And guess what? Movie never came out.
Of course it did. Of course it did. I was surprised the one movie came out that we did.
That's crazy. So, what else can we look forward to from Vincent M. Ward?
Man, my goal is to put out my other projects, man, that I've created. My goal is to be a series regular, man. You know, I think that's all of our goals to be series
Yeah.
regular. You know, reoccurring is cool, but series regular,
Yeah.
that's what I want.
That's the money. You know what's
Yeah.
crazy is because I've had people like I've appear on a show, and then people not knowing because they know what series regulars make. They're like, "So you made $50,000 off that, bitch? I wish."
You know who else be thinking like that? Child support. They
Right,
think like that. Man, I remember I went to court. They told me, yeah, we saw your IMDb. You have a lot of credits. You must be making a lot of money. I said, evidently, y'all don't know anything about
right,
IMDb because
right,
that don't tell nothing about how much money you make.
right.
Child
Exactly.
support is, thank God child support is over with.
Right,
But I thought I was gonna go to jail that day, man, because they made me so mad trying to base my career and what they thought I was making off of IMDb.
right. Not
I
knowing
said,
that a lot of them are co-stars or independent films where
for
you might get
free.
$125. Right,
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 right. So it's like, yeah, serious, you know, and you know, I think people like in your hometown, they be thinking that you balling off the charts or
right,
whatnot. But people
right.
don't
It's
see,
all in your pocket.
they don't see the tears, they don't hear the prayers, they don't see the days when you down, wondering,
Right.
you know, how I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean?
So tell the viewers again where they can find Stepdaddy, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna do a legal contract right now that you're legally obligated to book me for Stepdaddy 2. Uh,
Hold on, let me write it. I'm writing it right.
it's on film. It's on the film. We recorded it. You gave me permission to record.
That's praise a stepdaddy too. Yeah. But yeah, you can see it on Video Demand, whatever that means to you. That's where you can see it at. Or you can just come on my page because you know I'm gonna post it at
Yes.
Vincent M. Ward.
Thank you, Vincent, so much. It was a great interview. And next time you have something, you're definitely welcome back. So thank you again, Vincent. Everybody, check out the Stepdaddy on Video on Demand. Comes out April 28th.
Indeed. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.